Hey guys, let me know when you're jumping on if you can hear me. I think I know what I did wrong. I think my earbuds had something to do with it. So let's see. All right. Yeah, as you're jumping on, let me know where you're watching from, but well, not more importantly, it's all important, but let me know if you can hear me this time. Just a yes, a thumbs up. Thank you, Kathy. Okay. I think it has to do with my earbuds because I never use them. So the fact that that happened is, I'm sure, related. So you know me and my tech savvy ways. All right, so we're going to be making a floral arrangement using this beautiful batch of flowers and greenery from TCT Crafts. Gina, thank you. Gina, I would have gone on for a while, so thank you so much for letting me know. And Kathy, thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. How you doing, Connie? All right, so we are going to be designing in this vintage style compote. All right, and I already added some glue to the bottom. I was going to add a little more. I mean, you really can't you can't overly secure something, I don't think, so. All right, so now we're going to go in with, we're going to be using our glue pot for the rest. All right, and if you haven't used a glue pot before, oh my gosh, it's such a game changer. Hey, Jackie, yeah. I know my husband would like me to be on mute, but it doesn't really help on YouTube. It doesn't work the same. Okay. So we've got our glue is pretty much prepped and ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna go through what some of these materials are, but the star of the show clearly is this sunflower. I don't know if you call it a spray or a bush. This is like the real thing. So this is like at my neighbor's mailbox. So if he's watching, I'm giving him props for his sunflowers because I love them. So yes, so this is going to be the star of our arrangement. And then we have a whole bunch of different types of greenery. So greenery is one of those things that it can just be such a challenge to find what coordinates and what doesn't. So when Melissa curates a box or a kit like this, she's always thinking. She's got a designer's eye, the designer's mind. So everything is paired perfectly. So it's all yellow-based greenery. So you can see in our ivy, it's got some variegation. It's got some yellowness to the tips. Then we have some fern. All right, and then we have another greenery, which this stuff is cool. Let me see. I have been blind as a bat like all day. I do not know what is going on with my vision. Let's see, wild fern bush, yes. Myrtle leaf branch. Okay, so that's a new one to me. So we're gonna get botanically correct here. This is a myrtle, oh good Lord. Myrtle leaf branch, right? Isn't that what I said? Yeah. All right, and it's Real Touch Ivy. And then we have all this thistle. And this feels very durable. So like there's plastic that looks and then there's plastic faux florals that look really nice and are going to be super durable. And this is just a great example. So love using that. And then I love these. I'm all about the texture. Look at these giant blueberries. Very, very nice. So I might introduce some of this dark blue hydrangea. I'm not 100% sure, but I am like such a sucker for vibrant yellow and blue, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna put it aside for now. All right, so I am going to start with my, so it's not necessarily a kit, but this is from TCT Crafts. So if you use promo code KARA15, you save 15% off your entire order. And I do believe Melissa has kits. I don't know that they're always available, but it's definitely worth checking out. Melissa was at Dallas Market this week, and oh my gosh, like, one, I have no idea how you shop for the following year. Like, I don't even know what I'm having for dinner tonight, but Melissa, she's all over it. She knows what she's doing. So she shared so much floral inspo. So if you're not following her on Facebook or Instagram, you should really check out what they're looking at for 2026. Can you believe we're already talking about 2026? That is bananas. Bananas. All right, let's see. All right. So I know people, I got somebody told me ficus was terrible, and that's fine. We don't all have to love the ficus, but I like it. It's just, it's a little bit of a crutch for me. I'm not too proud to admit it that I use ficus as a crutch. Well, hello, Miss Marion. How are you? All right, so we are gonna start. I'm just gonna do a little bit of foundational greenery. All right, so I'm just gonna give our ficus just a little bend. All right, all these materials, everything here is super malleable. So, you know, you wanna enjoy the designing process. You don't wanna be stressed that you're gonna damage materials or, you know, whatever. Like, you can manhandle these things. So if you bend it this way and that's wrong, you can just go back and do it the opposite way. It's not gonna break, okay? Marion, how dare you be late? You missed me going on without any volume. All right, and I'm also designing on a Lazy Susan, and I do that because I like just being able to have a sense of balance on every side. So we are just gonna get started, and usually if I do something once, you're gonna see me do it twice. Very OCD like that. So starting off, we're just putting one on each side. Okay. Don't even want to say where I just punched myself. I'm sure you saw it, YouTube. The video's not made for kids. It says that. That is not checked. So yeah, actually, Marion, how on earth did you even notice that? This ficus is from Craft Outlet. I guess I mixed them because some is Pioneer. This is Craft Outlet, and I like it, but I have noticed that these leaves come off a little easier. I mean, they're pretty, but they're not quite as sturdy. Marion, you have like hawk eyes. Please tell me I'm not on a TV right now. Please tell me you're watching on a teeny, teeny, tiny phone. It's got more detail, but I mean, I think the more important part would be that it's not going to come off, because we certainly don't want our customers saying, you know, the leaves fell off, especially because we use them on like for our wreaths anyways. I always use them on the highest and lowest points, which means when I'm packaging them, they're getting smushed. You know, they just get fluffed after they arrive. But if the leaves are falling off, then that could be a problem. Your PC, okay. I can handle that. All right, so now I'm just gonna put some in the middle. And I'm gonna have these back to back, okay? Because we have the front part of our ficus, and then you can see on the back, it doesn't have the color, it doesn't have the detail. So we want to make sure that the pretty side is facing out. I love the container. Yes. I mean, it looks like a genuine antique. So this is an antique compote base. And I like designing with metal anyways, because shipping anything ceramic, it just stresses me out, because not that you can't do it. I mean, anything can be shipped, but you know that your metal container is not going to break. All right, so I actually am like sad to even cut this, because this is so much like real sunflowers. Like, my Grammy Lane lived way up, almost on like the Vermont border, and she had these, and they were so tall, and she was so tiny. They just towered over her. So this is totally reminding me of my great grandmother. All right, so I'm just gonna cut these at the base. I wanna keep some height on these. This is a very impromptu designing, but I opened up the box and I was like, you know when you're feeling like when you're feeling inspired, you just gotta go with it. That's when you know you love what you do and you're really enjoying it. Very thick stem. All right. Isn't it? It's very, very, I mean, it's so lifelike. The vibrance of these colors is just stunning. So I'm gonna start with, so like you have to look, some of the heads are bigger than others, but I'm gonna start with one of the taller ones. So if you have foliage that's in the way, you can just pull it off. You know, sometimes, I mean, this is really nice. You could actually save this for something else. It has a nice long stem. Actually, I'm going to use it in this arrangement. That's how nice it is. So that's unusual. I am curious who the manufacturer is because I've never actually seen, have you guys ever seen foliage that when it comes off, it's like its own useful piece with like wire and everything? It came loose from the arrangement. You know the other thing, so Gina's saying that I think the block popped out. Something that I do, and I don't know where or why I did it. I started doing it, but I just take a piece of burlap and I glue it to the bottom because the burlap's definitely not going to come off a metal container, and the burlap is also not going to come off of the block. Let me pull it out. Okay, so if we take a little bit, and what Marion's saying is true too. You can use super glue, you can use Gorilla Glue. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take just this little piece of burlap or whatever. If you have a type of ribbon that you don't love, it's inexpensive, I would say use that. All right, so first part is I'm just gluing that down. Now I'm gonna glue on top of it, and that is what's going to hold our block in. Yeah, I don't know where it came from, Marion. It came from this chaotic mind, but okay, so now I'm just gonna hold this down and give it a chance to adhere. This is what I love about, you know, people who are creative and crafty. We come up with the most random things, and even if we can't explain it, it works for us. And we all have different ways of doing things, but as long as the outcome is what we want, then like legit, that's all that matters. So yes, that is my wacky way of securing things when I don't feel like it's going to hold. Like ceramic, it is going to hold, but I do hear what Gina's saying. Like it can come off the block. Like say it got shipped and it was really jarred around, which is also why it's important when we're shipping to ship things really tight. So if I make a wreath that's like 22 inches in diameter, 22 to even sometimes 24, usually 22. I'm gonna ship that in a box that's 20 inches and it's going to be nice and snug. I also do secure it with some chenille stems on the bottom, but like, you know your girl's extra. So, all right, let's go in. I know this arrangement's gonna outgrow me real quick. All right, so we are going to bend. Now, as we know, sunflowers are notorious for facing the sun. So we wanna mimic that. And so if you're going to bend the head of a floral, we don't wanna do it too close to the head because that's where all the mechanical parts are like holding it together. We'd wanna go down a little bit, okay, and do the bend there. So I love that this piece has this little extra bud. So that's why I'm gonna make it front and center. All right, so let's go. All right. have our first one here. We don't have a ton of these blooms, but we don't need a lot because they really do pack a punch. But just to be a bit thoughtful about it, okay, we have one small one, and then we have three other good sized ones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the small one first, okay, and I'm gonna put it in front of this first bloom. And again, I'm gonna bend the head. All right. And that way it's like a little grouping. Yeah, definitely try the burlap. I made something, what did I make? I made something out of an antique pitcher. And actually, Gina, you might have seen that in Wreath of the Month Club. But I didn't want to damage the container, so because of that, and I also didn't know if I was going to like break the glass with the glue because it's antique, so I did that. I used it for that as well. All right. So now we're gonna go, and we're just gonna go right to the back. I'm gonna trim this down just a bit. How has everybody's day been? I have to say, I do a coaching group with Lauren Kilgore and Aaron Montgomery. They run it, and you're like in mini masterminds kind of groups. And there's always, like, Lauren's our accountability coach. I like to say bad cop, good cop, bad cop, but really neither of them are bad. But Lauren is the accountability coach who, you know, when you make a goal, she, you know, writes it down and then follows up next time. Aaron is like the cheerleader, legit. He has pom-poms when we do something like really well. So he always starts off our group with an inspirational video. Okay, and as I'm yapping, okay, so right now we have front to back, and so now we're gonna do side to side, okay? Okay, so the video was about basically wanting to give up, okay? And I know this is like a theme right now that a lot of people are feeling it because summer is always slow, but I know this summer has been particularly slow, and it just doesn't feel good. Like, it doesn't feel good when your house is filling up with designs, you know, I mean, like my overflow room right now is overflowing. Nice and low. So it talked about, you know, so it was three things. Let me see. It was, oh shoot. It was loneliness, doubt, and fear. Okay, here we go, people. Okay, so fear is a liar. Doubt, oh, good Lord, Cara. I had it. I just got it. Doubt was something. And then loneliness, I'll just get to the loneliness part because that's the part I like the best. Loneliness, or that sense of loneliness, can be a sign that you're on a path that no one else is on. So that you're trudging through when maybe, you know, other people have decided that they don't want to go any further. So, you know, when we're designers and we're, you know, if we're working from home, this is a side hustle, all of those things, it can feel really like lonely at times. It can feel a bit alienating. And so that's why it's great to find communities where you connect with people that you find to be supportive and upbeat. Bruno is like literally going to come through the window. It's important because sometimes when we get in our own head, we start to, again, doubt our talents. We want to give up. You know, we need a community that is supportive of one another. Shh. Hey, Bernadette. Hey, Janine. Marion, do you mean sales are depressing, or the fact that your studio is not organized? Because yeah, it has been a slow month for me. And so what I'm doing is I'm just using this time to do some different projects. So like if you're in my membership group, you know that I'm working on a course on how to run in-person workshops, which I'm super, super excited about. But I mean, it might be your time right now to flip your studio for fall. Like I am overdue. I'm actually kind of like avoiding it. I know once I get in it, I'll be excited, but right now it seems like a very big undertaking. And it always seems to be the ribbon. Changing over the ribbon is the one that seems to get me the most. Yeah, the sales. Oh, good. Thank you, Janine. All right, so I'm just going in and I'm using this foliage. Nothing is going to go to waste with these sunflowers. And so you may have heard the story too. It was in our book. Goodness, I need to not quote things. But anyways, there is a tale of somebody who during the gold rush, he bought all of this really expensive equipment to mine for gold. And he didn't find anything. And finally he gave up and he sold his equipment and he sold it off pretty cheap. So the guy who bought the equipment went to start looking for gold and it was 3 feet from where that person quit. So it was like that guy was so close. Like sometimes you don't realize how close you are to something big happening, and that's why we can't give up, because success is like right around the corner, and sometimes no's are what actually get us in the place that we need to be. So if you're, doing an in-person show or something and, you hear, oh, you charge that much and da-da-da, those aren't your customers. Those aren't your people. If you're talking in the wreath community and you're getting flack from other makers, that's not your tribe. So, and I'm not even talking about anything specific. I'm just saying it's good to be around people who have the same goals and outlook. So things are going to get better, but I mean, I'm with you. I have so many things that are just sitting waiting for a home. So, I mean, you could run a sale, you could do a giveaway to try and get some engagement on social media. Okay, I broke up this fern and I'm just gonna start putting it throughout. And also you can start working on things that once it does become busy again, you're not gonna have time to do. So things like organizing your craft room, organizing your ribbon, maybe you wanna de-stash and get rid of some stuff and get a little extra cash for it. Like, I am trying like crazy to give away a ton of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's just like I need it local because it's so much stuff, but I mean, like, I just want it gone. Like, I'm not really looking to make money off of it. I just want it to go away because it just, it's like when your house is cluttered, it just drags you down. All right, so I'm just going through. Oh, I like this. This kind of reminds me of leather leaf. So I like real leather leaf. I have had a really hard time finding artificial leather leaf. This is technically fern, but when you're working as a florist, this is like their version of ficus. This is kind of the backdrop to things. Nightmares. Marion's having nightmares that her wreaths are chasing her. They're on the move, Marion. Listen, my dream last night involved Eminem and Tom Brady, so my wreaths weren't on my mind. So Marion, you need to dream bigger, my friend, and dream of Tom Brady's abs, because I was. And Eminem is my celebrity crush, so if that seems really random, it's really not for me. It's pretty on par. All right, so again, just going through, and this is why the Lazy Susan's so important, because then I can see like there's an area that's like totally neglected. I am like tongue-tied. I think I had too much caffeine this afternoon. I went on like a no latte spree for like an entire year, and lately the iced lattes have just been calling my name. Yes, dream of Tom. You're welcome, Janine. it's hard, you know, and like things like imposter syndrome, like they happen to all of us. Not, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but they really do happen to most people, if not actively, like at some point in time. I had a really good stretch without imposter syndrome. And last winter, it beat me down. It beat me down. I forgot how to make winter wreaths. I don't know why that is because I've always enjoyed it. So I'm not going to get in my own head and worry about this winter. My mojo was just off. And I let it get the best of me. And that's when it's important to have like that friend reassure you. Like, yeah, girl, you know how to make a winter wreath. Like they're not that hard. You've done harder things in your life than make a winter wreath. Marion, I have met Tom Brady, and he's even more handsome in person. Like you have, oh, so handsome. So handsome. The beautiful people. You don't realize what these celebrities look like. Amazing. Amazing. All right. This bush has a lot in it. So I have 2 of these, but I'm only going to use the one. And I'm really digging just how airy it is. And Marion, why aren't you dreaming of Eminem? Maggie and I used to fight over him. We had to agree to disagree and just disengage on the conversation. Yeah, it used to be like a Pepsi thing. It was like an endorsement thing, and you got to take your photo with them. So we got to do it a few times, and one time I brought Riley, and she was maybe like 8 years old, and so they had her stand in front of Tom Brady, and she was scared of him, and she didn't want to stand in front of him, and so he was like, "That's okay. I understand you want to be with your mom." And I was like, "Yeah, or we could be a family." But I was like, "You're so going to regret that when you're older. You had a chance to have Tom Brady, like, just right there over you, and you did not take it." Regrets. All right, so this is our... Oh, why am I... Yes. That was... Jackie, I was, like, so, like, proud of myself for so long. I'm like, I don't look into other people's things, so I'm not getting imposter syndrome because I'm not worrying about what other people are doing. And then somehow it just got in my head and it just locked in. Myrtle leaf. I knew it had to do with the beach. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we do feel like that, like we should reach out to somebody and just be like, do I really suck that bad? Like, is it that bad? Should I give up? Because I don't think you're going to find that the answer is yes. You know, you've done so much to get your business going. So much goes into getting your Etsy shop ready, getting those listings, social media. Like, think of all the things that you've learned along the way that you had no idea. You thought you were going to make wreaths because it was a hobby that became fun. And then you were like, maybe I can make some money. But like, think of all the things. Like, I think it's insane that I know how to fix my website. I think it's insane that I know how to do an email list. I think it's crazy that I know how to do Canva. Like, all I wanted to do was make pretty things. But when you're running a small business, it's so much more than that. And so take a minute to think of all the stuff you've done to get where you are. Even your logo, I mean, all of it. It's all relevant. And those are all skill sets that you didn't have before and you don't want to let go of. You worked so hard to get where you are. And you know, like, when things do kind of pass and consumer shopping is maybe in a better place, you want to be like the last man standing. You don't want to be 3 feet from gold and giving up. So if other seasons didn't do well, my Easter stuff, I made a bunch of bunnies, I did a bunch of things. They're still here. Last year they sold like right away. This year they didn't. So now when it comes to spring next year, I'm ready. But I think a lot of people are feeling it. So no one is alone in this. There are still people out there spending though. And when fall comes and that crisp air hits people, you know, we all do it. We all put on our plaid shirts and get our hot cider. You know, it's like, it's just that feeling. And that feeling also comes with making our homes feel welcoming, decorated for Thanksgiving. You know, for people who have young kids, it's like you want them to feel each season and how special it is. Like you don't want them to take it for granted. And part of that is decorating. Like one of my favorite parts of Christmas when I was a kid was that my mom decorated every single room. Even though I wasn't allowed in this fancy living room because that was the adult tree, the reality is that like I took that away and I never forgot it. And so in my own home, I try and emulate the same thing. Yep, Marion is saying community support is the best. And Marion, you are an awesome cheerleader. You know, you put yourself out there, you jump right in. You don't shy away from anything. And that's part of what makes you so special. You know, because people can be in groups, but if you're in a group and you're staying silent, you're not really getting the benefits of it. You know, you want to be a part of that community. You want people to know who you are. You want them to know about your journey. And the only way that's going to happen is if you speak up. So even if it's out of your comfort zone, whether it's a YouTube video like this, you know, pop on and say like, hey, I like to make wreaths, or hey, I love sunflowers. Like, let people see your name. The more they see it, the more it's like that friendship grows. I mean, there was once a time where I saw Marion's name and I did not know her. And now look. It's very, very true. You know, I think very highly of you. And Gina shows up. We got a Zoom call. She is there. She is ready. She is great on Facebook. She's active. And that's what's going to keep us going, are these relationships, because things are not going to stay this way. Nothing stays this way. So, like, I always taught, like, because I get social anxiety, that nothing lasts forever. You're never going to feel happy forever. You're never going to feel sad forever. So if you're feeling scared or anxious, it's going to pass. You just have to understand or believe that it's going to pass. If you don't, you're gonna basically paralyze yourself with fear. So this too shall pass. This is Select Artificial. Fancy, fancy, Melissa. Oh my God, I have glue all over me. My daughter's home because her place does not have AC. Steve is licking your leg. All right. And Gina, I know, I feel you. I mean, I'm thinking about all the work that you do, and I'm also thinking about just how talented you are. If you stunk, I would not be like, Gina, keep going. But you are very, very gifted. And you have done so much with your Etsy shop. Like, I mean, I am kind of talking to you. I'm talking to everybody, but I'm kind of talking to you. Like, thinking about how you've been feeling lately. Because, again, last winter, I was like, what the heck is going on? I stink. But we don't. Nothing lasts forever. So we might be on a hot streak one day, and then we might not the next. It's not worth giving up. And we don't want to be dreaming about our wreaths chasing us when it could be Tom Brady's abs. So Marion, get your priorities in order. Right away, my friend. Riley, did you hear me talking about the Tom Brady story? There's so many people that need that pep talk. And so Aaron Montgomery, he is one of the coaches for the group that I'm in, he is going to be doing another Zoom call with us and Melissa's group with TCT Crafts. And it's on that specifically because I think so many people need to hear it and we need to get re-energized. We can't stay in our heads about things and we can't feel these things alone. And I know, you know, there's only so much our spouse, our family can hear about our, you know, our woes and our frustrations. So that's what your people are for. Lean on your people. Because I know that when I need you, you're going to be there. Look at that. Look at me sliding in that guilt trip right there. No, but for real, I do feel like I have relationships with you ladies that if I was really down about something, you would lift me back up. And I think you have. You have. I'm not saying I think. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put this aside for a sec. I am gonna go in with our blues. Oh, Steve does not have Tom Brady abs. Steve does not. And Riley, let's not go any further about Steve's muscles. But yeah, Riley, you blew it. Could have had Tom Brady just his hands on your shoulders. You didn't want it. You didn't like it. All right, so we're gonna go in. We're gonna pepper in. I never use these, so I'm excited. So these aren't TCT Crafts. Just so I make sure I'm representing things properly. All right. Tom Brady is a traitor to New England. They hate us because they ain't us. People are going to hate on him no matter what. And he is a gentleman about it. All right, so I'm going in. What do we think about the blue? I'm just like a sucker for this like color combo. Do you guys like it, or do you think I should have just stayed with the yellow and white? I won't be offended, I promise. So Marion, on this episode of spending other people's money, but yeah, I mean, I had to place a pretty good size order for some events, and I did kind of have my heart in my throat for a minute, and then I thought, like, if I act like I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail. If I have faith in myself, then I'm going to be okay. And so I had to move forward. And I'm not saying go crazy spending money. You know, definitely always shop your stuff first. Always, always, always. Because you might find out that that beautiful ribbon that you see online, you have something just like it sitting in a bin. I've made that mistake so many times. And I always kick myself because I don't know how many hundreds of rolls of ribbon. I don't know what the fixation is about it, or the obsession. But it is there. Oh, I'm glad you're liking the color. You want a third color, Riley. I don't have teal. Well, actually, I do have something teal, but it's like it's for a passion project. So let's. I think this is enough. Oh, gosh, why do kids get in your head like that? Because, let me see, I don't really have anything else pulled. No, I'm gonna stick with this color palette because we still have these blueberries, which are super cool. So I'm gonna leave these intact. Whenever you have something that is wrapped in paper, you can definitely just pull everything apart very easily. But for these, they're set exactly where you want, and that way you don't need to do floral picks or any of that stuff. Oh, yeah. Marion she bought ribbon and then she found the same stuff at home. It's impulse. So sometimes we need to put on our business owner hat. Like today I had somebody come out and quote me on putting an internet jack down here because when I stream, like if I dual stream, you need to have it like actually plugged in. And so he was like, yeah, I can do this. I can get it from here to there for $600. He's like, or you could just run a wire. And I'm like, honestly, as a small business owner, I'm super cheap. So I'm like, I would love to have just a jack right here and it nice and neat and all that stuff, but ain't happening. Not spending that money right now. Jeez, Ray Joe, I'm trying to think of what I could pull. 'Cause now you're right in my head. Right in my head, Riley. Let's see. Push these over here. Make sure that they're getting some prime location. These are very malleable, so we can have them going off to the sides like so. The berries are very cool. At first I thought they were hazelnut because they're just like the shape of them, but they are very cool. It's hard to find good quality berries. I am definitely a berry snob because if your berries aren't made like, you know, to be durable, then they're going to fade very quickly. So like when you have those clusters, I know that they're super cute, but when you have those clusters of foam with nothing coating them, they're not even going to really survive getting UV treatment, let alone actually going into the sun. They do look like little pods. Riley, I was thinking orange. Okay. You got me, child. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. All right, I think I know the one I'm gonna pick, but so we have this ruscus, which yes, definitely matches the vibrancy. Okay, we're gonna use this for something else. Can I say that this was like one of the last things I got at Joann's, and I so wish I knew where the rest of their stuff was because these are so nice. Such a great color. Listen, kid, I can't please you. I don't think they're gonna clash. Let's just pepper in some of this ranunculus, which I did not realize that ranunculus is supposed to be one of the flowers that last the longest, like for live florals. You're a pain. You're a pain, and I'm gonna shut the AC off on you. How about that? Yeah, I know Alstroemeria lasts forever. That's why a lot of restaurants use it. But I did not know about ranunculus. Alrighty, here we go. So let me find the starting point. Okay, so this is the front. We have this grouping here. And I want to make sure I'm not losing my little bud. All right, I'm going to start in the center. And actually, I was looking at some of the color combos in the Pioneer catalog, and they had some pretty cool, bright colors. Like there's certain bright colors that I love to pair. I think they're a little unexpected, but they go really well. Like hot pink is just the best color to mix things with. But they had some other good ones. I'll have to share it with you guys because they came out with some new colored florals. It's a very moody color. Almost like a child in college. Moody. Yeah, I started looking through the Reliant ribbon catalog today too, and I was like, so many pretty things, but I can't even stack up what I have right now. So we need to be resourceful and shop our stash. And it's gonna make us feel better too, because then we don't have stuff just idly sitting there. We're making use of it, we're decreasing what our spending is going out. and that's just gonna feel better. Like, there's a part of me that I think is not packing up for fall yet because I want to make some more things, and I also want to see what can transition from spring to fall, because there are a lot of flowers that can. Kind of needs to be steamed. Alrighty. I think for the membership group, we should do a fall challenge. I think we should do a Halloween challenge, like a little bit further down the line. I mean, if people want to do Halloween, I mean, you know, I don't really have rules. But I do think a fall inspo would be great. Like, Gina, well, you don't have to tell me, but I don't know where you get your ribbon, but your ribbon choices are so unique, and I don't know where they came from. Like, I feel like normally I can kind of spot, like, okay, this is from Craft Outlet or, you know, TMI. Like, I don't know where your ribbons are from. They are beautiful. And if you could even market, you know, just having like that evergreen wreath that you keep switching the bows on. Like, if the problem is people aren't comfortable spending a lot right now, then we can come up with other solutions. Like, sometimes we just need to like take a moment, take a beat, and think about what it is that our customers are telling us. Because right now, my next project is working on this very neutral floral arrangement for a lake house. And I've been working with this client for years, and she's been very consistent. She doesn't like color. She likes neutral. And so then I was like, okay, why am I not like catering to that? So I got these roses, and they're almost like a beige. They are very unique. I wouldn't have thought to grab them for anything. So I was like, why didn't I think more like in her shoes about what she would like? Because when I showed them to her, she was like, heck yeah, like, let's do it. And Gina, I just think those bows could sell, and there could be a huge profit margin in bows. And tree toppers are going to be coming. You know, that season's right around the corner. Like, those definitely, I mean, your wreaths are beautiful too, but like your bows are just amazing. And I haven't seen things like it. Like, I have not seen other people using the same patterns and everything. All right, I'm kind of moving some of these blueberries around. All right. Very boho. Oh, I was talking about Gina's ribbon, wherever she sources it from. Like it's just always very unique. Marion, you too. Where is the video? Where is the video I've been waiting on? We need more Marion. All right. And you said you wanted to practice, so it's like a win-win-win. Gina, would you ever want to make a video and share it in the group? I would want to watch that. For sure. Oh, thank you, Jackie. I'm glad you like the blue. Yeah, this is, I don't use this enough. I had bought it. I used to just use it for patriotic, but I mean, really, there is a place for this. All right, so now I'm going to cut up our trailing ivy. And I love this because anything trailing like this that has this type of body, it's going to just lend to so much movement. So this is from TCT Crafts. Sometimes I forget to say it, but if you are shopping at TCT Crafts and you use promo code CARA15, then you save 15% off your order. They do have free shipping over some threshold. I can't think of what it is right now, but that would be at tctcrafts.com. If you are in the membership group, sometimes we get a treat and we get one of Melissa's tutorials, which I learn a lot from. LA Ribbon, Greenery Market, Craft Outlet, and TMI. I've never heard of LA Ribbon, and let's see. Greenery Market I recently shopped at for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. I got stuff to make a magnolia wreath, and it was so beautiful. You had a calamity? What is a calamity? Marion, you got to strike while the iron's hot, and things don't need to be perfect. So I don't know what calamity, unless you've literally broken the ability to record, then you need to be putting some stuff out there, sister. All right, so I'm just going in with some of our smaller pieces of ivy. And I'm giving them a bend. I want them just to trail down. I definitely don't want to completely cover this container because the container has so much character to it. But I also want to give it that grown in feel. Do I have another little piece? Yes, I do. So I grew up in Mass, and I've been in New Hampshire for almost 14 years, and something happened on Saturday morning where I went full on New Hampshire. I woke up, I painted the back deck, listening to country music. Now, what is it? Oh my gosh, Wade Mullen or something. He's my new favorite singer. I don't know where it came from, but now I'm obsessed with his songs. I was New Hampshire finally got me. Tried to fight it, but it got me. All right, so and if you have pieces that you need to pull off or you need to cut down just so that the stem can go through the block, the block, then it's better to do it than to not have it secured in there properly. Oh no, Marion, that really is calamity. Yeah, that's fine, Gina. It's not for, we all have different goals. Just not everybody's looking to sell. They just enjoy designing with other people. I just wanted your secrets. All right, let's see. We're gonna just put this in. I'm giving it a nice bend. I don't have the pricing on here. When I do the description for the video, I will definitely add all the SKU numbers for everything. Again, those sunflowers, imagine doing something huge, if I didn't cut that stem. Even imagine if that was just, somebody had me do something where it didn't have a container. It was sunflowers that hung on their door. And you could do that with that. You could have the stems and just do a huge bow and some greenery. That would be really cool. Yeah, it was somebody who got one from a florist, and it eventually it was old, so it eventually kind of faded, and they wanted it recreated, and it was nothing I'd ever done before, but I really liked it. Oh, Marion, I'm sorry. That does not sound fun. Oh, Marion. So I have this really random fear that when I walk by high pieces of furniture that I'm gonna poke myself in the eye. I feel like I'm gonna bump into it and poke myself in the eye. I'm also afraid if there are coat hangers hanging off of something. I just for some reason have this serious fear that I'm going to get poked in the eye. So I asked Siri about it, and there is an actual term for it. It's oma something phobia, I forget what it exactly was, but I then tried to ask it again for more information. It pulled up the most disgusting phobia. Like, I can't even talk about it. YouTube would kick me off. It was so gross. And I'm like, no, stop. That's not what I said. Ooh, disturbing. It was a very disturbing phobia. But yes, mine is, I think I'm going to poke my eye out for whatever reason. Thank goodness for the internet. We wouldn't know how disturbing people can be. Okay, I'm gonna grab one other thing. Real quick. Hi, Steve. Real quick. Please hold. Please hold. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow back to this. No thank you, Rijo. Yeah, I love this ivy. There's a lot of ivy that doesn't look very natural. This does. So I'm not going to use this, but this was also an interesting, like, last round of Joann's. I think this stuff is going to be awesome for Halloween. But what I was going after were these yellow pieces. So I think I can probably spread them out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to leave them on that one single stem. Cut it down a little bit. And then I'm just going to bend them. Stevie, chill. Steve's the dog, not a child, just so people know. I'm not speaking to a child like that. All right, yes. Just putting this in. I'm just gonna spread this out so you can like just weave this in between all the florals. So I had a really interesting order, request, whatever project, and it is a mom's friend and a daughter, and they're making centerpieces for her son's rehearsal dinner. So they needed 5, so there weren't really enough people for me to do a workshop. So I recorded the video and gave them all the, the kits and everything. They did such a good job. I was like, I'm uncomfortable with how well you did. They did amazing. They followed everything like to a T. And I'm like, how nice is it that at this reception or dinner, you're going to be able to, like, your son and his bride are going to know that, like, this was made with love. I mean, she could have just bought them, but, like, it was important that she made them. She did such a good job. So if anybody has seen that blue hydrangea video recently, that's what they made. That was what they used. And she did such a cute setup. I'm going to share it on social media because she made, like, a whole station, a whole design station in her dining room. Tutorial. Oh, I definitely can do that, Jackie. Easy peasy. I'll do it on a different video only because I just don't know what size box, but I always pack things super, super snug. And I learned how to do that I went to FedEx. I used to use FedEx, like, pretty much only FedEx. Now I've gone to UPS. I love my boys in brown. But you can go down there if you have a nice FedEx like mine and ask them how to package something, because you can pay them. It's super expensive, or they can teach you. They can also teach you how to score a box, which is using a tool so that if the box is too big, you can cut it down, because we all know that shipping fees are so expensive. So yeah, you can find resources in lots of places. You just got to ask. Because I walked in there with my scoring tool and I'm like, I don't know what the heck this thing does. I don't know what's what. And she showed me. So I made sure I left a very positive review on Google because that's a great way to say thank you to people. I love this. So this comes in hot pink too, and it was super inexpensive. This was also a Joann's thing that I would just grab like fistfuls of. It's plastic, but it does the trick. It serves without being overpowering, and it's gonna be durable because of the material. Like you can just tell. All right, what are we thinking? Let's see, do we have any? It's always tough because when we're designing from like above, sometimes you don't realize that you don't have enough flowers down low. Make sure I do. Sometimes I just gotta kind of pull things down a little bit. All right, a million glue strings, but that's okay. And so normally what I do is I use Spanish moss to cover the base, but for whatever reason, I felt like reindeer moss was the direction to go in. So I have on my workbench, I have 2 jars. One is of reindeer moss, one is of Spanish moss. So reindeer moss is definitely going to be a lot less messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the base and make sure that I am covering up any gaps, any of the foam. We don't want people seeing the stems. You have to think like if somebody's at a dinner table, you know, like how much of like, if they're at eye level with this, what are they going to be looking at? And we want them to see like just how beautifully natural this can be and even fool them. Like I think a lot of permanent botanicals now it's very hard to distinguish real from faux. Like look at Real Touch orchids. All hotels should be using those. It kills me that they use real ones because you know that they're replacing them constantly and then they're not cheap. Love, love, love. Is this for a special order? This was not a special order. This was just me playing around with some beautiful goodies from TCT Crafts. I will show you what the next order is going to be. I'm probably going to record it. I am going to record it. Why am I saying that? I am going to record it. All right, so once you have your moss completely around the block, okay, around the entire arrangement, you're going to take these floral pins. They're called floral pins, U-pins. If you didn't want to spend money on them, you could also take like a piece of wire, okay, and like say this was cut and just make your own U-pin just so it's like pushing down our moss. So when you're doing this, you need to make sure that you can feel the moss on top and then you hear it go into the block. Because if you don't hear it go into the block, then it might just be sliding next to the block, which is not helping. Thank you, ladies. I'm so glad you like it. This went in an unusual direction, but I'm digging it. Let's see. I have a fourth one. All right, and so even when things go indoors, I always use the Krylon UV spray. Okay, so this is something you can get at Michael's, Walmart. You can get it off of Amazon, but it's pricey because shipping spray paint. Okay, but what I like to do is you take this outside because it's got fumes and all that stuff, just like any other spray paint. And you're gonna spray everything for a good like 30 seconds. Sometimes I repeat. If you have a customer that you know has like heavy sun or well, I guess just, I was going to say like where they live, but Lord knows I wouldn't know what the weather is. I guess if it was like California or something, maybe you could just use your intuition and you can reapply it. So it's not going to leave any mark on it. It's all going to just dry clearly. So this is made for florals, so which means it's made for fabric, which also means it can go on your ribbon. I had somebody reach out to me because my Dee Stevens ribbon, the chinoiserie one, it faded in like a month, and I was shocked. Shocked. So I replaced it. She didn't even ask. She's super nice. She's a great lady. But I'm like, nothing should fade in a month. Like, so she did say I get super heavy sun. So I'm like, well, if you do place another order with me, like, please just remind me, because I can repeat this. I can repeat a UV spray like 3 times, you know. Also, if you know it's like really heavy sun, you also might want to make sure you use extra glue, because even though you always want to use high temp glue, because if you're using regular glue, then it's just more likely to melt. And once it melts, it's not doing anything. But yeah, you want to make sure you're using high temp glue, and it might also be an indicator that you should go back and like go and glue everything again. So even though this is going to be indoors, I still do the spray because I think about when you're driving in your car, you think you don't need sunscreen, but you are getting, you know, UV rays, the effects of UV rays. So yes. I know, I was so shocked, Marion, and I was like, I was glad she told me, but I put on, for the replacement bow, I put a bunch of UV on it. And so what I did was because I wasn't really sure how much ribbon could take, so I just did it in like little batches, but it was totally fine. Yeah, it's very weird. So I told her, I'm like, I would just leave the faded-ish one on, because it was just starting to fade. I was like, I'd leave it on for the season and then use this fresh next year, but. All right, so this is our design. Most of this is from TCT Crafts. So you go to tctcrafts.com, use the promo code CARA15 to save 15%. We got our sunflowers, we got all this texture, all of this thistle, our berries, our trailing greenery, our myrtle leaf. We learned a few things. I learned a few things anyways. So that is this one. And then I'll just show you real quick what the custom order is I'm doing next for my neutral girly. So this is going at a very grand, long table. They're Italian. They host a lot. They have an awesome family. They do a lot of social functions. So we're going to go with something long and low. So the star is going to be these kind of cream, kind of beigey roses. Okay? And to stick with a muted tone, she likes purple. So we're going to do a little bit of purple, not a ton. And then I thought to stay muted, it would make the most sense to go with blue-based greenery, so that we're avoiding that like vibrant pop. So I'm going to use some of these cream-colored hydrangea, some of this purple heather, and then I got a few bunches of these roses. And then it's going to go in this dough bowl. And I've had this dough bowl for probably like 2 years. It is so nice. It's super heavy duty, but the wood matched the wood of her table. So like this is like, when you're making something with somebody in mind, like this is custom. Like this is for my girl Maria. And I even put little thingies on the bottom just because I was going the extra mile on making sure that everything is perfect for her table and for her home. So yes, stay tuned for that tutorial. That will be coming soon. But yeah, and if you guys have things that you want to, like, if you want a video about, you know, again, like how to ship this arrangement, whatever it is, I love ideas. I love when you guys come up with ideas. So I write them down and then I can just execute. So if you have things that you aren't finding, whether it's on my channel or just in YouTube in general, just let me know, because I am more than happy to, you know, put a video together for you. So thank you guys so much for keeping me company. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their night. And again, if you want to shop these supplies, TCT Crafts, and use promo code CAR15 and save 15%. And with girl math, that also means you could order 15% more. So, all right. Have a great night, guys.